I'm going to start with a story that most of us who work with visuals can relate to. You see a huge screen on a showroom floor or a YouTube unboxing. You think that's exactly what my office needs. You click through a cheap-look 65-inch panel, it arrives. And within a week the colors look flat, the stand wobbles, and you're already scrolling through return policies. The regret of trying to save a few bucks on a budget display is something I've felt more than once, and it makes me nervous every time I'm about to spend a serious chunk of money on a professional-grade screen. That's why I spent a good amount of time digging into what the NEC 75-inch UHD Professional Display actually offers before I pressed record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the size alone puts this model in a different league. A 75-inch panel is not something you casually toss on a home desk. It's a centerpiece for a conference room, a design studio, or a control center. The moment you pull it out of the box, you notice the sleek, almost minimalist bezel. NEC has gone for a look that will blend into both glass-heavy corporate lobbies and more industrial-styled production floors. That aesthetic isn't just about vanity, it means you can mount the unit on a ceiling rail or a sturdy wall bracket without it screaming expensive tech every time a client walks by. Now, the first question I asked myself was, does this screen actually make my daily workflow easier, or is it just another eye candy? The answer lives in the SPECTRA engine that NEC touts. In real usage, that engine translates into smoother color transitions when you're scrolling through a high-resolution CAD model or playing back 4K video footage. I set up a test with a multi-camera live stream from a small production crew, and the image stayed consistently sharp even when I switched from a static slide to a fast-moving drone shot. The display kept its luminance without flicker, which is a big deal if you're the kind of person who spends 8 hours a day in front of the screen and can't afford eye strain. If you're thinking about this for a corporate boardroom, the hidden trade-off is the installation footprint. The unit itself is hefty, and the recommended wall mount kit isn't cheap. That said, the modular expansion design means you can add a secondary input module or even a built-in media player later without having to replace the whole screen. For a company that wants to future-proof its meeting rooms, that flexibility is worth the upfront effort. It also means you won't be stuck buying a whole new display if your organization upgrades from 1080p content to 4K streaming next year. Who should buy this? The answer is pretty clear: anyone who needs a reliable, large-format visual hub and is willing to invest in proper mounting and wiring. Design firms that review renderings side by side, medical facilities that display diagnostic images in high detail, and broadcast control rooms that monitor multiple video feeds will all find the NEC 75-inch screen a solid foundation. The high rating of 4.6 stars from almost 90 reviewers suggests that most buyers are happy with the core experience: color accuracy, stability, and the ability to run for long stretches without overheating. On the flip side, if you're a home theater enthusiast looking for a massive screen on a budget, you might want to look elsewhere. The price point is firmly in the professional tier, and the lack of built-in consumer-grade features like built-in speakers or a simple remote means you'll have to pair it with external audio solutions and a separate control interface. Also, the screen's bright, uniform panel is calibrated for office lighting, not the darkened room you'd set up for movie night. You'll likely need a separate calibration step if you want that cinema-level black level, which adds another layer of work. Let's talk about practical strengths that matter after the box is opened. The first thing I noticed was the plug-and-play connectivity. NEC includes a variety of HDMI 2.0 and DisplayPort inputs, and the firmware allows you to switch sources with a simple on-screen menu that's accessible via a thin, unobtrusive remote. In a real-world meeting, you can have a laptop, a video conference system, and a media player all connected simultaneously and flip between them without crawling under the desk to swap cables. That saves time and reduces the chance of accidentally unplugging the wrong device. Another strength is the uniform brightness across the entire 75-inch surface. In many large displays, you get hot spots where the corners appear dimmer, forcing you to adjust your content or live with uneven visuals. The NEC unit maintains a consistent luminance, which is especially handy when you're laying out a large spreadsheet or a timeline that stretches across the whole screen. The even lighting also makes it easier to read small text from across a room, something that a lot of presenters complain about with smaller panels. Now for the weaknesses. The most frequent practical complaint from users of similarly sized displays is the weight. This NEC model weighs